Well, damn. We got another Creed fragrance, another new one. It was like 5 or 6 years, and we barely got any Creed fragrances for men. And then all of a sudden, this year, there's like 5 or 6 Creed fragrances for men, or at least unisex leaning masculine, that are coming out or have come out.
Yeet, yeet, skirt, 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 roll up, yeet, drop that, yeet, skirt that, yeet, pop that, yeet, hey.
Because Absolu Aventus came out. It was a limited edition like 8 months ago. And then it was announced that Creed Centaurus is coming out. I got a decant of it, just reviewed it 4 days ago, and that shit's a banger. And now it was announced that we're getting a permanent release of Absolu Aventus, but it's called the Triple Aged Batch. So is it a cash grab? Is it something that you guys should try out? We'll figure that out now because we're doing my first impressions. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another 2024 new release. I feel like they freaking don't stop coming. The new releases, I feel like I'm doing them every single day. And it's not just designer this year. It's like designer, niche, designer, niche, indie. Like we had Outer Banks come out. We had Surf City come out. Then we have the Copper Still one that's coming out, the Shine Punch. I mean, it's just nonstop. Then we just talked about the new Creed Centaurus that's coming out in about a month or two, and that stuff is freaking fire. And now we have another Creed, and then we also have 3 more Creeds apparently coming out at the end of the year that are a collaboration, an amber collaboration with Selfridges. So those are crazy, and I don't know anything about those, so don't ask me. But yeah. We have a lot of releases, and today we're talking about the new Absolu Aventus permanent release called the Triple Aged Batch. Before we get into that, if you like my content and you're not already, hit the subscribe button. Everybody else on the way in, hit the like, helps out the channel. Comment below, let me know you're interested in this, you think it's a cash grab, because we're going to figure that out in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about where I got this shit from. So, my moderator, Newt, thanks, Newt, he introduced me to this guy named Joey, who him and his son, they have a website that does decants and full bottles of hard-to-find fragrances and new release, mostly niche. Like they have Aaron Terrence Hughes line, and that's hard to find in the United States for the most part. Like you can't get decants of that stuff. They have the new Creed Centaurus that was on there. It's sold out, and then now it's going to be coming back in the next few days. I will pay attention to my community tab. I'll post it on there. But it is called Centaurus.us. I'll put the whole link and all that in the description and in my community tab. And that is where I got the Creed Centaurus. And I think it was $16 for the 12 milliliter, which is a fantastic price. And again, they also had Louis Vuittons and Manceras and other Creeds. And then the Aaron Terrence Hughes line, a bunch of stuff. I'll put it all on the screen. But then, the day after I did my Creed Centaurus thing, Joey, the owner of the company, saw my video and said, "Hey man, thank you so much for doing that. I wanted to know if you would like to do a video about the new triple aged batch of Absolu Aventus, and if you would like to give your subscribers a discount." And so what he did was he created a code for me. So if you guys either want a full bottle, which the full bottle of this that I'm about to talk about on his site is $3.49, which is even less expensive than the original batch of Absolu Aventus. Take 5% off of that using the code DOUD5, and then it'll bring it down an extra $15, so, or a little bit more than that. So thank you to Joey for that. But yeah, it's Centaurus.us, and they have a lot of good stuff, so definitely check them out. With that said, today we're doing my first impressions of Absolu Aventus Triple Aged Batch, and the batch is F002655. This is being released in October, but if you do want a full bottle, he does have full bottles. I don't know what the stock is like, but he has full bottles of it on there, again, for $249.99. So I am spraying this on, and then I'm also going to spray the original, which I gave a 7.8. This is the original Absolu Aventus. I'm so happy I kept this decant. To tell you guys what the differences are, if there are any at all. there's definitely a little bit of a difference. It's that Absolu Aventus DNA, like what the Absolu Aventus. So I'm going to take you guys back just on a little journey back. The Absolu Aventus, it starts out, it's a warmer, slightly resinous take on the Aventus DNA. It still has that pineapple there. It's a little bit more forward, still has the woody nuances, a bit more spicy and resinous, and that is still what you get with this one. But this one is a little bit richer, a little bit warmer. Definitely smoother as well. It's almost like what I said with the YSL Myself Le Parfum. It's almost like they had a little tuner on the front of the bottle and they tuned up the resinous quality. They made it a little bit richer, a little bit warmer. I would say they're still about 85% the same. But I can already tell you, this one was like the original was like a 7.6 to a 7.8 for me. Just that small nuanced changes in this one makes it a little bit better for me. I would say this is at least like an 8.2, 8.5. Yeah, it smoothens everything out. It's a little bit richer, a little bit warmer. And it has a little bit, because I know originally people were saying it was kind of like Aventus meets Sauvage Elixir, which I kind of felt it was more like Aventus met Roja Apex. And with that said, that didn't really come off as prominent in the original for me with the spices and stuff like that. But I can say it's a little bit more prevalent in this one. So if you liked that richness, if you liked that Sauvage Elixir-esque style DNA mixed together with the Aventus, that is definitely what you're getting a little bit more prevalent with this. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Is it redundant to own both of them? I would say yes, 100%. With that said, if you don't own any of them, based on just this opening sniff in the opening, which opening is better? This one is better by a mile? No. But it is definitely a little bit better. It's a more warm, a little bit richer. It has almost a slight bit of a vanillic tone to it. And then that spice woods and a little bit of the pineapple up top. I think it was like a pineapple citrusy mixture, but slight fruity citrus. It's a very, very, very nice scent. It actually kind of reminds me of Cayet Al Fursan a bit. But it's definitely better than the original. Just not by much. If you own the original, you don't need to go for this. I would still say try out a decant. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys about a half hour. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the dry down and see if it changes at all. So I'll be right back. All right, guys. So we are back and we are talking about the triple aged Absolu Aventus that, again, I got from scentrush.us. Again, thank you to Joey and Newt who put me onto his site. But I can tell you, they are still about 80 to 85% the same. There is a definite change to this fragrance, though. So, I mean, a lot of times so a triple aged batch, it just means that they kept it in and they macerated it in-house for 3 times the amount of time. And a lot of times that can change the scent profile a bit, and it does create these nuanced differences, which is the exact word that you should use for this fragrance. There's a nuanced difference for pretty much every category. In the opening, it was a little bit warmer, a slight bit richer. It's definitely smoother, more refined. In the dry down, it's a bit more noticeable though. It's a bit more noticeably different, but I mean, it's still the same fragrance. Don't get me wrong. It's still 85% Absolu Aventus. There's just this creamy vanillic tone mixed together with that warm, rich, Absolu Aventus Sauvage Elixir mixture. Definitely has that woody, spicy tone. More of a night out style, but this is better. This is just a better version of Absolu Aventus. So I'm actually kind of happy that they created the original Absolu Aventus as a limited edition and then brought this one out as a perma release. because this one is going to be their permanent Absolu Aventus, because I guess it sold so well, and so they had more fluid that they were macerating, I'm guessing, and now they're releasing it as a Triple H batch, and the bottle is going to be the exact same. The only thing different is going to be on the box there is a sticker that says the Triple H batch. With that said, I can say that this one is probably an 8.5 for me. I don't know how it's going to get further into the dry down, but just imagine Absolu Aventus, that warm, rich, kind of, again, like Sauvage Elixir, Roja, Apex mixture on top of the Aventus DNA, and it just gets to that dry down quicker. It gets more into that resinous warm and spiciness. It gets there quicker, and then it adds this semi-rich and semi-sweet vanillic tone that brings a bit of a creamy tone to the fragrance, which adds that 15% nuanced difference. And it's just better. It's still like not a huge love for me. Like the original just wasn't a huge love, but it's a better version, and it's making me actually want to buy a bottle. I didn't want to buy a bottle of the original Absolu Aventus, but now I think I might. The opening for this is closer to the original Absolu Aventus. And then once you get about 15 to 20 minutes into the fragrance, you can start to notice that's where they start to separate just a bit. Again, they're still the same fragrance, just with those nuanced differences and maceration. And so in this case, the maceration it did something to the scent profile. It just made it better. It made it warmer, richer, a little bit more spicy, had a bit more depth. And then it has this creamy vanillic tone that the original one didn't have. Yeah, I'm going to give that an 8.5. I think this Absolu Aventus Triple H batch, again, the batch is F002655. I think it's fantastic. It's going to be your night out fall and winter scent that you could probably wear in the cooler nights of spring. But it's a very, very nice fragrance, and I definitely recommend, if you have the original and you want to try this one out, but you don't want to buy a bottle because you're worried it's a cash grab, then I would say definitely get a decant. Again, scentrush.us has it right now for $16 or whatever it is for a 2 ml. So definitely check that out. Is it worth a full buy? If you don't have the original, but you like the original, buy this one. I could easily say just blind buy this, because this is just the better version of the original. That's all it is. It's just a tuned up version of Absolu Aventus that's just warmer, richer, and a little bit deeper with that creamy vanillic tone. I don't know how it's going to change after that. We will do a full review of this in about 2 weeks when I come back with the Centaurus as well. I still think the Centaurus is a masterpiece. I think it's fantastic. This one is just a better version of the original, which I didn't like as much, but I do like it better now. It's almost full bottle worthy for me. So if that changed my mind, maybe it'll change yours. So why don't you guys take a look at it, go to the website, do them a favor, again, use the code DUDE5 for 5% off, and yeah, we'll talk about that again in a couple weeks. I'll also revisit it on my live stream next Monday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you did, and I'll be back with another one. Peace out.